These old things had some style. We drove on the trailer. This thing's super scratchy though. Transmission leaks like a sieve. In retrospect, maybe I should have bought one of the $5,000 cars, but that would have required $5,000. So here we are at one of the other locations. This is where a lot of the extra Toronados were stored. The old man just kind of squirrel them any place where he could. Believe this tan one's an 83. It's really a pretty good car. 2018 tag on it. These have all sat various amounts of time. This one's 68 or 9, I believe. These were all sold online. I'll try and put on the video here what each of them brought. It's like kind of a burgundy brown color. Obviously, really a parts car in this condition. It's got the strato bench, tilt column. A few things taken off of it. Thing to understand about a parts car, you start pricing stuff individually, and for what some of these sold for, $300, $400, $500, wouldn't have to use very many things off one to justify buying the whole thing, as long as you had a place to put it. Hotman Chevy Olds, Brighton, I think, should be Colorado. See the plastic fillers decay and crack apart on these. The old man must have kept some silicone companies in business. Wow. That is a super, super nice car. Looks like 31,000 miles. Could have turned over, but you never know. Little garage. Just stash them away. Now I bought the 80 LeSabre. They said is on this property. That's 68. That's a super, super neat car. This one sold for a little more. Conditions pretty good on it. Bob Moore Oldsmobile in Wichita. The old 80s era radials. Been parked a while. I don't think these had a vinyl top. I think it was more of like a textured. Yeah, maybe it is vinyl. I think that's a steel panel. It was textured. The rest of the roof was a conventional top. It's got the pearl white interior. Pontiac called that parchment. Strato bench. I don't know if Oldsmobile had a different name or if they would have called it parchment as well. There's the drawing point of the car, and the advertising was that perfectly flat floor. Of course, then once the 80s came around, they used a tunnel again to tuck the exhaust into. So it should be 66, I think. It's a decent car. Got a crunched corner. As long as it's sat, it's gonna be parts. This one looks like sat in a place with a leaky roof. Well, there's my LeSabre. So I took a chance on this thing, not knowing much about it. Had a 2023 tag, which is pretty recent. They'd been looking for the keys for it. Said the keys were in these. We haven't located this one. Mail call. Look at that. Dome lights on. Really hoping we find a key for this, because this thing might drive out of here. Crank window car. White with burgundy vinyl top. More of the schmutz smeared on it. Going through the keys a little bit and found several to try in the old Buick. Wanted to show this key ring. This is obviously for the 50 Chevy. Look at all those neat jeweled, about every blank you can imagine. Super, super neat to look at these old things. There's Oldsmobile. Got the 53 Corvette little pocket knife. Pretty neat stuff. So here she is in all of her portable, carported glory. See the covers are kind of blown off. This old paint has pretty good gloss to it. See just a few little spots there where the cover's worn it through, but that's not the end of the world. So looked through the box of keys there and found 3 different ones and stuck them in, and they turned the ignition on the first try. Another one turned the trunk on the first try. So looking at this thing, tires are up, and I think it's time to stomp the old pedal and see what she'll do. Battery's got any juice or not. I did bring a spare battery and a can of gas just in case. That's a no. And drats, it's a top post. I did see when I was kicking through here a set of jumper cables. So we'll see what I can do here. So if anyone ever watched the Apollo 13 movie, when they dump the bag of stuff out and say adapt a square oxygen filter to a round one, that's pretty much what I've done here. Selecting out of bits and pieces, and I've got each of these tight, and we're gonna see what happens. Looks like our connection isn't perfect. Oh, charge light went out. Connection magically got better. Yeah, she might be down a cylinder or two, or could possibly be fighting through 1.5-year-old gas. 1.5 years old gas? Sure. Oh! Possible exhaust leak. Buy a pig in a poke. $340 car, you can't be too choosy. Don't look that gift horse in the mouth. Definitely take that hood prop with me. Might use it later. Sure we don't have an e-brake on. Nope. Here we go. Might take a neutral drop. Blah, blah, blah. No go. This project can literally go no further without a quarter transmission fluid, so I had to make a stop here at O'Reilly's and grab one of those, and we'll be back to try again. That's a scratchy old car, man. Yeah. Scratchy old car, but by golly, she runs.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, just play around with it on YouTube a little.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
80, I think they said, yeah. Cosmetically, this is probably one of the more respectable ones we've run across. Well, by hook and by crook, and by golly, we made her. 1 quart of transmission fluid was enough to get it to move. My little MacGyvered battery setup worked. We're loaded. We drove on the trailer. This thing's super scratchy though. Transmission leaks like a sieve. Got the smoky old Moldsmobile engine. I'm assuming that's what this is. 350. This old Mercury Cougar, I thought sold really reasonable. It's in excellent condition. Really good car overall. I kind of wish I'd come beforehand and previewed these. There are probably some that, seeing how cheap they sold online, I might have been in for. Venerable 3.8 V6 in that one, rust-free car. That's something that if a person kept it up and kept it nice, bound to have future collector value. Be a good durable machine you could use all the way up to then. This Ford was at 80 or 81. Joe was kind of interested in it, but he was about to leave for Colorado, so he bid a ways on the 2 Ford pickups and then left them. Wowee. So if I think I MacGyvered the battery in that Buick, has about the most MacGyvered steering column I think I've ever seen in a vehicle. Used every household material known to man to fix that thing up. The rest of the truck's really nice. Not even rusty. Guy could find a good used column and clean that up and have a pretty respectable truck. Got the mobility handicap Chevy Uplander. Yeah, just acquired various vehicles of various years and they auctioned them on the estate. F-250. Trying to remember, this one had the 351. Not too bad. A little bit of smog stuff cobbled, which is probably every one of these trucks. 351 Windsor engine. Probably be enough to move this empty. Put some load on it and still go. Got the captain's chairs with the plastic console. Tilt column. XLT. Lariat. Kind of odd being a single tone paint. Most trucks optioned out like this, they would have sprung for a two-tone. Front wheel drive Buick Century. This was probably the next car that he replaced the old LeSabre with. That LeSabre is running and moving, but it's leaky and scratchy and patched together, and this old Century was far cry better to trade up, but still a dull jelly bean car. No chrome Buick rallies, rear wheel drive. Really nice gold Toronado with the black interior. Always liked these. This one even better because it has a lot of the catalog appeal to it. Gold one's what was on the cover of the sales catalog. It's just a cover on here. I couldn't really tell in the pictures on the bidding. He's got that really cool ribbon speedometer. This one's showing 18,000, but probably with the wear, figure it's turned over. Nice smooth road car like this. Sure they wanted to drive it. Doesn't look like an 18,000 mile engine. Of course, Jay Leno's got one of these. If that doesn't tell you it's a pedigreed collectible, I don't know what does. 56 Pontiac. That's pretty reasonable for what it was. Have a little more unique car than a Chevy at probably half the price. Factory black. Really attractive on here. Blue interior. Pretty well kept. And there you go. Serviced at the Buick dealer. If it'll focus on that. There we go. Barely. Consolidated Motors, 113 South Ash. They kept her serviced up. Hydromatic car, which most of these were. Got the cool old, like a B-52 style light up hood ornament. Neat car. The 50 Chevy. I was very tempted on this. Under 6,000. That was a good buy. Got the rear wing tips. It's kind of some average body work on it. But for what this thing is, first year of the hard top. Just a neat car. I'm guessing reupholstered. Could be original. Power glide, hard top. Just the way you like to find them. The gold Impala hood ornament. These old things had some style. This is the Winnebago on the 1-ton Dodge chassis. Find one that's really well kept and been stored inside like this. Not around every corner. That's a really good, pristinely preserved camper. It's locked. Of course, the Winnebago had its own specific grill. Still got the old 16.5s. That tells you it's a low mileage unit. She is locked up. Probably hard to see in there. Good shape overall. These are actually starting to acquire good share of collector value to them. Got the generator right there on the back. Kohler. That's a good unit. This Tornado, super nice car. For the condition it's in, I thought it still sold pretty reasonable. Definitely less than the cost of a restoration. This one's 69 because it's got the locking steering column. 68, very similar. That's a pretty proud old car, really. On the old Michelin radials. What a great car. Cadillac Eldorado. I think a lot of these he probably just bought speculating and holding on to them, and that's a pretty good car. The North Star V8 scares a lot of people, so they probably have a ceiling and a lid on the collector value just because of that. But if a person was into one and looking, it's probably about the best one you're gonna find right there. And now, another Tornado, 66. Very well preserved. Another low mileage car, got the old Michelin radials on it. Very, very good car. 98,000 miles. That was a pretty popular color on the Oldsmobiles during that time. Think about any model in the line, from the Cutlass to the Tornado, you could get that color. Another one from the Bob Moore dealer. And this 61 Pontiac. That's probably the nicest car here. Very, very clean, well-preserved car. Out of Peterson in Salina. I've never heard of Peterson Pontiac. Got the old bias ply tires. She went to Canada at one time. Wow. 84,000. You'd think half of that by looking at it. 61 Chevrolet Bel Air had a real similar hybrid rubber and carpet floor covering. It's really in amazing condition. 60 and 59 had the four-door flat top roof and the hard tops, and then 61 they carried it over for the sedan roof. So that's 1 year only body style. And the Chevy half-ton window van, long wheelbase, not the shorty. This thing's in really good shape. I thought it sold for strong money, being a window van, being a long chassis. It's got the sofa in the back, dome lights on, so probably a runner driver. It's a good option van, AM, FM, tilt column, AC. Got the neat aftermarket floor mats, plaid door panel inserts. Of course, any of these vehicles having been stored inside makes a huge, huge difference. Got the old Western wagon spoke rims. That's a good old van. Here's what I picked. Let me know what you think relative to price. Good buy, bad buy, dumb buy, smart buy. I could tell as I was loading this thing, underside of this car has been very, very rust proofed. Got the fluid film out of the engine, the transmission, the rear end. A lot of leaky mechanical parts of fluid film the underside of this car. And you can see why the exhaust is so loud. Every one of these old cars is gonna have its good points and its bad points. So we'll check it out, see what she needs. Well, this leaves no other choice but to turn this car upside down, tear it apart, find out what the truth really is.